absolutely the shot, the thumbnail that everybody should have been used all over the place. It wasn't.
Oh, how? How was it not? This is every childhood dream coming true right now. Just being in the desert, looking at Monument Valley. I mean, it's the Westerns. This is just perfect. One of these things is like, this is like my shot of the year.
For sure.
For sure. It's on 80.
It's a poster shot.
It's a poster shot. It's one of those things you put as a billboard.
Just this lovely view.
Oh, dude, that's money. That on the 85, the car's perfectly silhouetted. They got the tent, you got the dog, you got Brock. And it was just like this most perfect like road trip experience. I feel like Porsche needs to put at the top, Porsche camping experience. Come get yours, whatever. And this is what Dakota does best.
Yeah.
So this was something that Dakota found as we were, kind of gathering. I think I was focusing on setting up the car rig. And he's kind of going around getting the shots at the overcrest, the official overcrest.
The
start.
Really?
Yeah, exactly. And so he sees this moment.
Yeah.
And he immediately goes, guys, get over here. Brock, you go over here.
I know, I remember
this.
all of it.
And he was setting this up, and he said, Evan, get over here now. And I'm like, okay. And I look at him like,
that's it. That's the one. That's the banger.
This is why I have him on set all the time, because this is the shot.
We're officially part of the round. It looks so good next to all the Porsches. This might be a permanent fixture.
I learned in college, I learned how to network. I learned how to grow networks. I learned how to relate to people. I learned how to just connect with the right people. And I will say this. I mean, even that's great.
Yeah. So this shot right here is also a crossfade. So there's a crossfade because there's a moment between you actually getting the car starting and taking off. So I literally And this shot right here, pause.
Yep.
That was actually on a road trip, on my road trip.
Oh, it was.
This drone shot was actually sunset on my road trip when I actually picked up my car and drove through Monument Valley.
I was curious on where this one came from because of what we were doing at this moment. Mm-hmm. Nobody was running drone.
No.
And so I'm like, this is stock footage. This came from somewhere. I don't know how.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
But it's exactly what we were seeing.
Exactly.
So that's the Monument Valley.
It's Monument Valley. It's also during the same time, so we're like, sunrise is happening. So if you look at this, sunrise is happening just a little bit over here. At the time of May, the sunset was going on this time, over in this part of the, the landscape, and the orientation was actually fairly similar to where sunrise was happening for September later that year. So the sun had shifted, the world had rotated enough to where it actually matched. And so
very,
we could
very on point.
Mimic the sunrise at this point. I don't know. I was really happy that this all kind of fit in. And there's two shots I pulled from this trip that you'll sort of notice in another one. So
essentially a subcontractor for about bankruptcy, unbeknownst to me, and I couldn't pay for anything from that point forward. Well, there's a moment.
I lost it all at 24 years old.
Right there, I'm like, I lost it all at 24 years old. Here I am, quite a few years later.
Yeah.
And I say that, and I listen to it, I'm like, that's such a naive statement, even for something that I said a year ago.
Yeah.
Because I was 24.
Yeah.
Lost it all. Like, what did I mean, I there's a lot that had happened in my life, so it felt very, very dramatic. Mm-hmm. But if I was an outsider watching this, I'd be like, oh, the kid lost it all at 24 years old. Like, there's no, understanding of what was going on. Yeah. So the more I hear it, I'm like,
context.
Just cringy, right? Like, it's just, the context of it is like, oh, this guy has no clue.
Yeah.
But it was such and unfortunately, you can't create context in
this. It's
this
so hard to create context, especially specifically to these types of films. And that was one of the hardest things, because I remember this note, actually, as I was watching it, I had that same feeling, like, how do we really convey, there's actual loss happening at a 24 years old?
Yeah, so at 40 years old, I would have lost less. Basically than what I had lost at 24.
Right.
I mean, to put that in context,
that's
where it was at. Like, there was this this crazy thing that happened in my life very, very young age. I'm very grateful that it happened then and it didn't happen now, though.
Yeah.
Because it had given me all this extra time to figure it out and realize what's important.
And that's why you do stuff at 24 to lose that
totally,
stuff.
right? Like you get it going so you can lose it. Anyway, so we'll move on from that.
Yeah.
I just found that like that's probably the most cringy part of the film for me.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's context for it, and I'm sure there's somebody out there being like, that dick. Like, it's just
Lost
terrible.
it all at 24 years old.
It's such a terrible thing.
You're
so.
gonna turn around tomorrow and make it back. Or it's like you're 24.
You lost your job at Costco at 24 years old? All of it? Yeah.
No, I mean I was
wild.
married at 24, so like I'm like if I lost everything at 24, I'd be pretty screwed. So like I got married young. So
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so moving on
Yeah.
from that part.
Welcome to entrepreneurship.
this another. Oh.
Yeah.
Sure that
When we just figured out the car rig. Another shot from my road trip.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the one.
Yeah. Another drone shot.
Hold on, let's pause that one for a moment, and we'll do it quick.
Yeah.
That was the drive-by. You guys were like on the side of the road. One of the drive-bys where I was
Yes.
basically just wide open throttle, just a couple inches away from you guys.
You were less than a foot.
Yeah.
You were less than a foot away from us. To a point where even there's a behind the scenes shot of Dakota looking back at me like, just stroking his chin as he's like, that was close.
Yeah. We did a few of those on this trip.
Sad
Oh,
baby.
you can come in here. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Come
This
on.
is Lucy.
Lucy, come on. You can come up.
One
Just
of the
come up
stars
here.
of
Come
the
on.
show. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
My girlfriend. You are
take
so
over?
pretty. Oh, yes.
All right, good
I'm
enough.
okay with this. This is a great scenario.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fell in my lap. I
Uh,
would say of the modern cars, of the
Oh, there's
modern
Lucy.
Porsches, it's the most Good timing, I love,
Oh,
which appeals to me greatly.
all right, pause it. Another shot right here that I pulled from another YouTuber, actually. So this was not from Deontay.
Okay.
I needed a bigger establishing shot, and we didn't. We were too focused on what was going on the ground to really give direction to what needed to happen in the air.
Yeah.
Because we were there for like maybe an hour and a half, and we had an extensive shot list to get through at this scenario that were a little more extensive on the ground. So this is one shot that we did not get. It was basically an establishing of the area, the full space, and so I was looked up on YouTube, like Swing Arm City drone. And that's what I looked up.
Yeah.
And there came up a great few videos, a couple of drone people, just stitching together cool drone shots of people dirt biking. And there was this one shot that gave a great perspective that was good at similar time of day to where it wasn't like, sunrise or sunset.
Right.
It was actually, midday, slightly overcast to where it wasn't like super harsh shadows. It gave the great textures that you wanted to see. I'm like, I have to have that shot. So I reached out via YouTube, or I think YouTube comment and said, email me here. I would love to see if I can get this shot. And the guy emailed me. He's like, oh yeah, for sure, use it. And
Love it.
And he
Love
loved
it.
it. He loved it.
I mean, I do love this shot because it shows where we were at. Like when you say a different planet,
Yeah.
this is Mars, the moon, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's a surreal place. It's pretty dusty too.
Yeah.
There's
just something about still getting dust out of my ears.
Makes me just excited all the time.
Yeah.
There's still dust in my car from this trip.
Oh, yeah.
Probably from this.
Ultra successful
Yeah.
family where
There's no way there's
you're
not.
handed everything.
And that's the
here's a nice
that's
car,
the
here's a
shot.
fancy
Doesn't really that
vacation.
telegraphs it
It
better.
really, even that doesn't do it justice.
How steep it was.
How steep it was, and I was disappointed that my car was so low clearance because I wanted to go at least another 20 feet up. Just wasn't realistic. Like I would have that would have been the end of our trip.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like coming down off of that, no chance.
You sent it pretty hard on this area considering the car that you were driving out.
Well, the attitude was like, we gotta get this. Like this is fun. Like this is something that I want to do so terribly bad. I had to do it, and we wanted to do it over, and I would do it over, and we did it over.
turn.
Right, I think we probably did 5 or 6 runs up that, trying to pick the right line.
Yeah.
And then once I found that line, then I could send it a little bit harder and come off of it without destroying more of the car than I did.
You really, this was probably the start of the problems that we were facing.
There were a few.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the way with the 996 is
Get a
it
Lucy
was a
shot.
major change from Porsche. They went from being
And then these shots of just like the car just getting dirt.
you guys eating dust is what you were doing.
Ate dust.
And to me, having that.
It was probably the most irresponsible I've ever been with my camera.
Yeah, I think this is, you've got to insert, I'm sure you're going to, the BTS of you and I think Dakota, like basically just sucking dirt in at this very moment.
Oh, this is...
Absolutely. At this spot
right here.
when the cloud just comes over us.
So that's hilarious. We'll get this transition in a moment. So Sarah was at the Cayenne, or maybe she was at I think she was the Astro van.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you have this, I think you do.
Somewhere.
But that dirt moment, it put up such a cloud and it was almost windy. You could see the dust coming at Sarah. She realizes like what's happening and she dives into the Astro van and you just see like the dust just envelop the van and like suck into the doors and this whole thing, it just gets dirt. It's just crazy. And you guys are
in it
3 feet away from the rear bumper as I'm shooting rocks and dust and dirt at you.
Yeah.
What a moment. What a moment.
It was worth it. I mean, like, that camera ate some dust. It ate some dirt. It ate dust. It was probably one of those moments of, like, I should have had way better protective gear on this camera.
Well, it was worth the transition.
Oh, my gosh.
You know, we've got the opening shot was a really, like, just dynamic, epic shot. The Monument Valley shot is like the money shot, but this is the transition.
The transition, yeah.
You can talk about this.
Oh, yeah. Also, it was actually scripted. Dust, slinging at the camera, crossover into the product shot, which was behind the windshield. And this is what I always wanted for the product shot to be.
It was so good.
It was everyone who's seen it comments on this transition.
Oh yeah, and I mean, we showed this down in Monterey to the people that we're staying at the house with.
Oh yeah,
and there's like, that was amazing. Everybody geeks out on that.
Yeah, oh good.
Even non-film people, like, they get it. Like, that was the coolest like transition they've seen.
Oh cool.
They didn't even know what to call it.
But it was such a good moment.
Which is the product I use the most of.
Exactly.
I
the windshield.
have gallons of it that I pretty much go through because I'm constantly every gas stop. I'm like, clean my windshield. Clean my windshield. Early on in my life, road tripping has always been an aspect of what we do. Like, my family, we were always about Sunday drives. And that was in a 1985 turbo diesel Jetta.
Cue the song.
This is where the emotion, I feel like, really kicks into the film. Okay. Yeah. That has trickled down.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
every little, like all of these shots, like it was just such a. It fits, like the song fits, like every aspect of it was just perfect. Like, I'm excited to put 8 hours on asphalt or gravel or dirt or whatever it might be behind me. Like, I'm excited to run
This is where we just get to enjoy the film.
So good.
It's epic.
Okay, pause real quick. So this scene is at Salt Lake. Bonneville Salt Flats.
Bonneville Salt Flats.
And that was an experience. So we go out there and we're on, going to the entrance and everything. We get to the entrance and there are a couple guards there.
Traffic cones.
They say that they're doing time trials. So essentially somebody had blocked off the area. I don't know how legit it was.
It was pretty legit.
I mean,
it was pretty legit.
Okay, I didn't see any officials other than
the two old guys that were sitting
with cones. I'm like, you could literally buy those off of Amazon and say it's closed. It was very annoying because we had gotten up so early to get these shots at sunrise.
We didn't just get up early. Like, we drove through the night and we found like a sketchy spot to camp.
Our last known location is right next to this gas station.
Yep.
Send this to the cloud.
Which led to an incredible night shot, which I'm sure we can, drop in there.
Of course.
And then we woke up at some stupid hour in the morning.
Yep.
To get to the Bonneville Salt Flats.
Only for them to turn us away and say, sorry.
Found some access roads off of the side of the entrance road.
Were they even roads? I feel like you just dropped off into like the dirt.
I mean, they were trails.
Previous people had done this.
Like somebody in a large pickup had probably done that before, so I thought, why not?
What we dove into was the muddy, dirty
the really nasty, dusty mix of dirt and like salty ground. It was crazy stuff, and it definitely was not friendly to drive on.
No.
The sounds that were coming from things shooting up underneath the car into the fender wells, like all of that kind of stuff.
That's beautiful.
It was epic. Like, it turned out amazing. But these shots we would have never gotten on the white, pristine salt flats.
Exactly.
It wouldn't have happened.
This is what I call our Walter Mitty moment. Yeah. It's just perfect. And then this little shot through the door.
the shot through the door. The open
and
door
her
was
coming
great.
through, Lucy coming through. And this is red footage, then this is A7S footage. And I said, spray me, man, spray me.
Oh, man.
And then this is where we enter into like the actual rally footage. It's where we get like, event focus footage.
Yeah.
Oh, one of my favorites.
Which is so fitting to go do it at a drive-in movie theater, right?
Of course.
It's so cool.
And this shot, I think this is probably one of those more orchestrated shots. We're sitting here, all right, pull back.
Yeah.
All right, go
that's
again.
Right.
Go
that's
back
right.
again. Try it.
All for this little...
little nose it.
Right there, right? Just a little more of the hood. Yeah, thank you. A little far.
I like this shot.
I love it. It just was very frustrating in the moment.
I
for
remember
all of
I remember
us.
setting it all up. I think we were just exhausted. We'd finally gotten to like the grand finale of the rally.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was everybody just wanted to crack a beer, but we had a few things we needed to wrap up.
Exactly.
As a Porscheophile, I love this shot because it starts with a 914 in the background, which is a very unloved kind of black sheep Porsche. And it rolls into the modern version of that, which is essentially the 996, which is a kind of the unloved, or at least was the unloved black sheep Porsche.
I didn't even know there was a 914 in the background. So that even I love 914s too after parade.
Yeah, you were geeking out on them when we were in Pocono Summit.
I know.
I want to associate with these people that are going out and doing these things.
It's such a good. And then of course another shot.
I just love. Yeah, this was a great drone shot. I love the human element of this like section. I didn't. I mean, otherwise it was just me chatting to the camera.
Right.
So seeing everybody do things and seeing things like everybody come together was a really important part for me.
Absolutely. It really pulls the film together. I mean, we could have ended the film
Easily.
right here, and it would have been fine. It would have been a great little film. We wanted to really take it that extra length and just kind of send it home. I mean, this would have been a great ending to the whole thing.
Yeah.
But here's that little extra push.
Oh, I had a little bit of family moments, going on.
And then this is completely different from Utah. It's almost like you hit your climax. Here, go ahead and pause it real quick, actually. So it's like, this is what I call, so you have in a normal story structure, you have your establishing line, right, which is establishing you're at the cabin. Then you have your inciting incident, which is you taking off for the road trip. Yep. You have all this build up, excitement. Then you hit your climax at the Overcrest rally. Everyone's together. Everyone's having a great time.
Yeah.
You've hit the peak. And then most films, or not most films, a lot of films these days will literally end it at the peak. And everyone's kind of left like this.
You've gotten so high and now you...
And then the credits. And it's like, I need that cool down.
Right.
And this is what I call the cool down, which is the falling action and then what I call the new normal. Essentially, it's like when you have this storyline, it's, you've got the normal, the inciting incident, rising action, climax, falling action, which is your coming down moment, and then your new normal.
Yeah. There's actually a moment coming up here that I don't know if I ever told you about. We'll get to it here in a second. Okay. So let's get to that.
This is a business.
I love this.
Because I think
it's so off the cuff.
Business, that's exactly what people do not want to see. They want to participate in the lifestyle that I live and the things that I do.
Beautiful river.
So this part where I'm drying Lucy off, I didn't have a normal towel.
Yeah.
So I grabbed one of the Gyeon towels
out,
and I was like toweling her off. The very first call that I had with Gyeon, this is what they were excited about.
Yeah?
This was not like... We really, we could have used some extra product in there. That was a little surface conversation. But we absolutely love that you were drying Lucy off with a Gyeon towel. It was such a great moment that obviously unintentional, but it was, again, had to use it.
Yeah.
And I'll say their towels are makeup absorbent. Not a plug for Gyeon, but they're really great for drying off doodles.
Yeah.
Which you just are like a sponge.
Yeah, you are.
I don't ever want to monetize everything I do, but I wouldn't mind getting paid to do the things that I enjoy. I think we all kind of fit into that world. Be here at my shoulder.
This is just like one of those
there are some challenges.
relaxing
you don't want to
kind
just
of.
Make everything a business.
Everything else is just as is.
It's been an interesting challenge for me to go from being. I want to go.
The canyons again, Utah, man.
I want to go road trip.
And this was important, I think, because it was kind of a recap of what had gone on throughout the film.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, it's a sum up.
Yep.
It was kind of revisiting those moments, those peaks.
Yep.
And then maybe getting a few different angles in there from those unused that we didn't use before. And I'm a huge fan of good crossfades if they're used well.
Yeah.
And some people are like, "Oh, it's so old fashioned." I'm like, dude, they're so. If you use them well, they can be timed well.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. I like a good crossfade.
The dog loves the new smells. That to me.
Yep.
That's such a good moment. And actually, so pause that. So that photo was actually, it was a screenshot from the camera.
Right.
The camera was just left running while on the car rig.
Okay.
And everyone was talking about something off to the side of the time, maybe our next shot or something like that. And the car rig, the camera was just sitting on the car rig.
Yeah.
And Lucy just wandered into frame.
You knew what you were doing.
And I remember I was getting a shot of you getting a picture of the landscape. And I'm like, these two worked so well together.
Oh, yeah.
So they're completely not even connected in any slightest bit. But I saw that. I'm like, I'm using that. Or going to use that moment. And then obviously turn into this great little picture moment.
Yeah.
With Go Loose. Yeah, that was such a little fun thing. Little tidbits. And then with
having Harry come in was great.
On 9/11, the rooftop tent,
another one of those kind of things you didn't
walk all
plan.
these epic roads, these amazing miles. Pop a tent at night.
Somebody was wiped out. The dog was wiped out.
Yeah. And then Harry,
It's weird to say, but I think that's the
he just,
part about what
I mean, decided he wanted to come hang out with us,
Yeah.
essentially, and that's how I got introduced to Harry.
And people are excited about that.
Yeah.
That's the reward of all of the things that I've done in my life.
Oh, and then this little footage of like swinging steak.
Yep.
Such a random place and such a cool little
That's what I like to do. What I do.
restaurant. And this is the other shot that we're all you're like less than a foot away from us.
Yeah, that was. I think we did that twice, maybe 3 times.
Once.
Was it one and done?
Once.
That's how I like to do
We
it.
did it once. That shot, we actually made a wrong turn.
That's right. Yeah, we missed that. We missed that turn.
Yeah, and so we had made a wrong turn, and we like looked at the highway like, that's cool, but we're trying to find a way to get the 100 in use. And so that shot
That was the shot.
the only shot we shot on the 100.
Very
And
nice.
so I was very excited to be able to get that long compression. And Dakota, of course, was like, we got to find some more 100 shots.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, like when you're going those speeds to go have a stationary camera, it doesn't look like you're actually going that fast, but you were going like what, 90 or something
Probably
like that?
90 at least. I was pushing it.
You were pushing it. I mean, we told you to push it.
Yeah.
We told you to really, really push it. And you did.
Woo!
I can't unclench my butt. I can't do it.
I'm never gonna be the same after that.
And I think my butt didn't unclench for another 4 minutes.
Yeah, you know, the things that people, not to change the subject so much, but I feel like the things that we didn't show was like the trip back.
The trip back, that was
We were all burned. We were all done. We were all tired.
We were all very exhausted.
And I can remember this slapping sound, like slap, 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 slap. And it was like fast. And I knew it had to be something stuck on the tire or something like that. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to pull over. And I pull over and I look under the car and I see this big piece of tire.
Oh.
Tire was done. Fortunately, I had decided to keep my spare tire in the car, which I've also been known not to do.
Thank God.
So that's the first like success of the story,
Yes.
and then it just becomes failure after failure after that because we waited for AAA for 4 hours, and then we found out that they didn't call us, they didn't tell us, so they just canceled the tow truck, the flatbed.
We weren't even in a out of the way. We were in a very urban setting, and so that was made no sense to me. Is like, how is nobody available?
It was a serious problem. So that happened, and then I basically got tired of waiting because we were all impatient,
4 hours of waiting.
and we drove back probably 450.
What's the tire
miles.
rate? What's the tire rated for?
Yeah, so it basically says that I shouldn't drive over 50 miles at 60 kilometers an hour.
60
So about
kil-
45 miles an hour.
Yep. And we were clocking maybe 55 miles. an hour.
Yeah, I was pushing the limits at 55, and we did 400 miles an hour. So Verstein, thank you. You made a great spare tire.
No kidding. That thing, we were all just kind of sitting on the edge of our seats the entire way waiting for the call. Like, yep, got it blow. You know, it blew out or whatever.
Yeah, and at that point we were in the middle of nowhere with no phone service, so it was just crossing your fingers and hoping we would make it back.
Exactly.
And we did. Looking back, the only thing that we missed was that Shell station on the way back.
Oh, that Shell station.
We don't even have a photo to show people the Shell
know.
station. Like, we were just, everybody wanted to be back so bad.
And
it was funny because I think, 3 rigs together.
Yep.
We all saw that Shell station and we all knew what was going through your mind. And you knew that you were not allowed to say anything.
Was not allowed.
Because we would have left you at that Shell station. Like, it would have been the end of the story.
Yeah. Because it was desert Shell at
Old
sunset.
Shell. Old Shell station.
It was so cool.
I mean, it looked like an old barn that they just thrown some gas tanks in front of.
It was
and a
crazy.
It was amazing. amazing.
Do you remember where, like, in Nevada it was? Like, as far as, like,
I mean, I know the road, so
Yeah.
I'll drive it again, and
it was not meant to be.
it wasn't meant to be.
Meant to be. Anyway, this has been a really cool experience and, like I said, a great open door to some really fun new projects that are going to be coming down the pipeline. So you'll be seeing some new, cool, really, really fun films coming real soon with Brock and with a bunch of other individuals. So stay tuned, guys.
If you've got any suggestions on locations or cars or people that maybe we should work with in the future,
Absolutely.
drop it in the comments, and we'd be happy to explore those opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. So until next time, I'm Evan Pollock.
Brock Keen, 996 Road Trip.
Yeah, see you guys soon.
Cheers.
Bye.